Hey, this is Tony Hannity from LazyTechGuys.com, and this is Eric Sopang. Eric, how are you?
I'm doing well. How about you, Tony?
I'm well. Eric is actually an old friend of mine. He's been on the Lazy Tech Guy podcast and specifically the Wireless Weekly a number of times. And I would say you're an honorary Lazy Tech Guy since you're also the roommate of one of our editors, Andrew Lee. So
yes. By
proxy, you're part of the gang. Eric is also one of my number one proxy reviewers, as he owns an iPhone, and you've owned iOS devices for a number of years, and since I'm more of an Android person, he's usually the number one guy I turn to help review. So he's back, and we are going to check out the new UNU Aero series wireless battery case, and this is pretty cool. Eric, why don't you go ahead and let everybody know what's going on with your phone and how long you've owned it and what the biggest concern of the phone is at the moment.
So I've had my iPhone for about a year and a half now. Yay, cool. iPhone 5. Yay me. So isn't he awesome at that?
Yeah, I'm good.
So what happens to my phone is I get to 30% and then it's dead. And then when you're at work without a charger, you end up getting pissed off and,
the rest is history.
Exactly.
All right, so let's go ahead and do a little unboxing on this and check it out.
Perfect.
All right, so let's go ahead and do an unboxing on the UNU Aero wireless charging battery case. That's a mouthful. All right, that was awesome. Okay, so what do we have here? We've got the USB cable, a headphone adapter extension, or not, user manual. The actual battery case itself comes in black. I also believe it comes in white too, so those would be your two color choices. Eric, are you happy with black?
Yes, of course.
Awesome. So that would be the black case, and then this is the wireless charging pad. Now, a wireless charging pad is not new. Actually, for me, the first experience of a wireless charging pad was the HTC Thunderbolt, which could be found on Verizon back in the day. Let's go ahead and take a look how this works with your phone. All right, so here's an iPhone. This is the iPhone 5. 5?
Yes.
5. Yeah, so no fingerprint scan or anything like that. So in here you have the major orifices for the toggle switch here. They have its own buttons for the volume rocker. On the other side you've got the opening for the camera, its own button for the power switch. And if you're looking for the headphone jack, as I was just now, you forget that it's on the bottom, and there it is, and probably it's really recessed in there, hence why you need the adapter to kind of plug it in there. So this is my first time taking the case apart. So I could be a guy and just try to do it myself. So let's be a guy. Oh, that was easy.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, all right. Slides in there fairly nicely. Very little gap between the back and the actual back of the phone. The camera is still open, as well as the flash. It's gonna, as you play around with this, Eric, it'll be interesting to see how the flash gets hindered or covered by this corner.
I can see it trying to do a halo effect. We'll test that out with a few pictures.
Okay, and then this is where obviously where it's going to be plugged in, and this is the micro USB charger, because like we saw earlier, this comes with a micro USB cable. So if you want to charge it through the wall, if you didn't have this wireless battery pad, then you could do it through the wall with a micro USB. And then this is the top, so it just snaps in. If you hear the snap sound, that's a good thing. Make sure it's snapped all the way around.
Ooh. Ah.
Really? We're doing that?
But it had to.
Did you? Okay. So, yeah, if you want to use a headphone jack, that's how you use it. You have a micro USB. It's kind of hard to see, but you have a micro USB down there. And then let's see if we can turn on with the new button that comes on the case. Turns on fine. Volume rocker, well, let's see. To get to the toggle switch, you kind of have to use your nail. And I think with cases like this, especially from like Mophie or UNU, I know, and then obviously LifeProof, you kind of have to really dig in to get to that if you're hitting the actual toggle switch on the iPhone. Otherwise, some of the cases do have their own toggle switches.
Right.
And then for the volume rocker, it's right here. It's pretty self-explanatory. So yeah. So the way that this charging pad works is that you just plug in the micro USB onto the side. You plug it into the wall or computer, and then overnight, I guess, you just place it on there, and not only is it going to charge your iPhone, but it's also going to charge the actual 2,000 milliamp battery that's in the back of this case here. So we will definitely see how, if it really pans out to be, as it states here, the most reliable power source. That's pretty bold.
It is pretty bold, actually.
So the folks over at UNU, thank you very much for letting us test this out, and we will definitely put it through its paces. And due to the awesome science of editing, here we are a week later. All right, we are back a week later, and as proof, he's wearing different clothes. I got a haircut, and he shaved.
Yeah.
I don't know. Did you shave?
Kind of. Yeah,
Okay.
I guess so. Yeah.
Eric, you've had this case from UNU for just about 7 days now. Before we go into like the nitty-gritty of what the case is meant for, which is extend the battery, how was the physical nature of the case?
It was a big change for me, because what ended up happening was I went from a case that's like featherweight to an extended battery with a charger port in the back, so it kind of made it bigger and longer.
Okay, so it's definitely heavier. It's definitely thicker. Now this is a matte material on the back, so it does have some grip. Did you find that it was better?
It was more pleasing to the hand than my previous case was. I mean, the fact that it was really, the fact that it curved and contoured, it actually made it feel better when I was on the phone.
Okay.
I mean, and then as far as my previous case, the reason why is because like having the phone naked is really, it gives you that blocky feeling, so it takes away from that and it gives you like more of the ergonomic hand feel, which is good.
Okay, so I mean, one thing about the iPhone 5 by itself, it did have a very, a beautiful design to it, which some people really do like, but you feel that this was more ergonomic?
Yeah,
okay,
definitely.
All right. Sound-wise, I mean, we do have these little outlets here for sound, so the speaker actually, if you're doing speakerphone or listening to music, it actually redirects the sound actually toward you. So in some case that could be better. Or did you find that it was actually blocking it, or did you find it was being a little bit more boxy?
When on the sound of it, it actually gave me a harder time hearing when I was on speakerphone.
Interesting.
And even the music that was playing, it was not up to par that I thought it would do that, because I thought exactly the same way that you did. Mm-hmm. And then when I actually started using it, I still ended up trying to cup it still. I don't know. There's a lot of people that have iPhones would know what I'm talking about, but it's like,
and with the iPad.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, with the iPad as well too. So
yeah,
you would have to cup the bottom just to get the, I guess, the sound out. Okay. And I still was trying to do that with this case, unfortunately.
Now I know you've had a myriad of micro USB chargers, because you've had Android and BlackBerry in the past, but now this was micro USB. So was that an issue for you, being a user, or because you've had all these cables, it wasn't such a big deal?
No, it wasn't a big deal. Like the one that came with it, I didn't even use.
Okay.
It was a 4-inch or 6-inch long cable. Yeah, 6 inches. And
probably less than that, honestly, but yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, I ended up just using it was a stock BlackBerry one, but it worked perfectly for the places I didn't have the pad.
Okay, and then lastly, in terms of the actual hardware of the case, we mentioned in our cut previously, in the edit previously last week, that it was very easy to remove the border.
Yes.
Did you find that this happened a lot, or at all?
It happened a few times, yeah.
Was it taking it out of your pocket? Was it something that
It happened a couple times. Once taking it out of my pocket. There was another time where I just picked up the phone.
I can't even. Okay.
There you go. Top first.
I guess, yeah. Okay.
And I just picked it up one time and it fell apart.
Okay.
So, I don't know if that's just with this one specific case. I just, maybe it was just hard to pick it up. But the thing is, I picked it up off of the sides, and then it actually came off the rim.
Okay. And then finally, I guess the nitty gritty of it all, what this case is meant for is to extend your battery life. Did this extend your battery life?
It absolutely did. That's,
all right.
That's one thing that I'm absolutely happy for.
So would you say all the other sacrifices that you had to make, the weight, the case opening up, is it worth it? Or would you say that you might look elsewhere because some other options, like we've mentioned, Mophie, for example, might not have that similar issue?
This case is what I could see that it's made for is made for the person that doesn't get to the charger a lot. Like if you're far away from a charger, if you don't even have that pad near you, it's something that you might want to get this case for, because it does give you that extended battery life, and it also gives you that fact of being able to charge it on that little pad. Now, if you're always next to a charger, this case might not necessarily work great for you, because that extra bulk does give it it gives it a tedious feeling of not having to carry it around all the time.
So different battery cases essentially do the same thing here, and without the pad, you could feasibly just use this with your regular charger, just like you've been doing with the BlackBerry charger. So with the wireless charging, which is a big, I guess, selling point for this is wireless charging. You just place it on the desk on the pad. Is that a gimmick that is going to stand? Is that something that you think would catch on, or is that something that at least for right now, is it feasible? Is it usable? Is it worth the effort? Or is it better just to say, I can't even find the pad, I'm just going to plug it in?
Honestly, the only reason why I keep talking about charging it into the BlackBerry or using my BlackBerry cable is because I don't have that pad at work.
Okay, that's a good point.
But the thing is, when I'm at home, it definitely stays on the pad. I mean, it's very convenient. The fact of you having to not look for the port, just placing it on there, and then boom, you're ready to go. I mean, it takes less than a second to do.
So that was a no-brainer. Once you got home, it was kind of like putting your car keys down here, putting your bag here, and putting your phone down here.
And it was really convenient. I'm going to say it's really convenient for that reason, especially because the price point of this case compared to the other cases with the 2,000 milliamp battery, it's right there where that price point is with the other cases such as Mophie, and at the same time, you're getting that little extra thing to make it easier for you to charge. So it makes it like a no-brainer to choose. Now,
one thing you mentioned that you wanted to try this out with with your iPad charger, which is 2.1 volts, to see if it were to charge it, and you actually tried that with another UNU case, and it did not work. How did this fare?
This actually did work with the 2.1, and it did charge it up faster.
So did it charge it with the 2.1 through the case or through the pad?
Through the pad.
Interesting. Okay. Well, we might want to do a follow-up just through Twitter or something, figure out if it actually charges through the case. But at least through the pad. But charging it through the pad with a 2.1 volt AC adapter, did that mean that it was charging the phone any faster? Because wireless charging, as it stands right now, inductive charging, magnetic charging, it's not as fast as plugging it directly in. So do you think that mattered that it was working?
It charged up. The phone was actually charging at the same rate, from what I saw. But the thing is, the back has these blue lights. I don't know if anyone could see this, but there's those blue lights right there. Yeah. So with that blue lights, it actually lit up a lot faster because it'll tell you like what the battery percentage is in quarters. So of course, 4 bars means 100%. And
so now you're at 75%.
Right.
Okay.
So with that, it lit up to 100% a lot faster. It did it in an hour and a half. So that means that it charged my case in an hour and a half versus it being on the 1 milliamp or the 1 amp.
Okay.
So.
All right. So take into account all the pros, all the cons, what is out there in the market, and not so much what's in the future, but at least what we have right now. Out of 5 stars, what would you rate the UNU wireless charging battery case for the iPhone 5 and 5S?
It would be a solid 4 stars.
Okay, great. Well, Eric, thank you so much. Ladies and gentlemen, Eric Sopang from Sopang Enterprises. You can find him on Twitter under...
At eSopang.
Okay.
And same thing on Instagram.
Cool. Well, guys, you can follow the rest of the crew at lazytechguys.com. If you go to about.me/TNinja3000, all my connections are there as well. Google+, YouTube, and Facebook, and Twitter. So you guys take care. Thank you very much. Have a good one.
Thanks, guys. tuning in.